Hey, I'm Dukes on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey, hope you're enjoying the content. A huge thank you as well just to my patrons quickly. Not only those who currently support me, but those who've been part of the Zenith in the past. It's a pretty phenomenal feeling to be supported by other players, not just in the Maverick or Legacy sphere, but those who just enjoy Magic content. My content will never be behind a paywall, and these patrons allow that to continue to happen. You may have also noticed I've stopped adding ads during my YouTube videos, and that's not just a quality choice, but also a direct outcome of having people support me through platforms like Patreon, doing a nation deck list. So a huge thank you to you. I love what I do. I love being a community member of the Maverick and even Depths communities, the wider Legacy community in general, and it's a privilege. So thank you. All right, let's get back into it. Yo, hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with another take on Abzan Depths, Abzan Maverick. This is Achilles 27's list that he recently 5-0'd with. The list is a pretty good mix. It's very similar to what I've been playing and what Harry1232 has been playing and a few other Abzan players, which is really nice to see. You don't often get too much coverage in terms of consistency with Mav with certain metagames, especially local metagames, deeming it worthy to play maybe a silver bullet that you wouldn't play online, and then also time frames online. So typically when I play, America's sleeping, so the decks that potentially Connery and Harry play are different to what I play. This list has a mix of everything nice. You have the Fiend Artisans, you have the Renegade Rallier over ramming up Excavator, still have 23 lands, still have the 3 Once Upon a Times, which is nice to see as well. The only change I made was Ignoble Hierarch over Birds of Paradise, and that's a few things. I think Exalted on a creature is really good in a format with initiative and Planeswalkers ticking down to 1 like Teferi. So I do like having Ignobled there. Also with Legolas's quick reflexes, you can kill a 1/1 with Ignoble Hierarch. You can't kill a 1/1 with the bird. So we'll see how that slides. The only other big change is that Connery likes to play the 2 draw lands and then the 4 jewels. I typically like to play 1 draw land and then 5 jewels, so 2 Bayou, 1 Scrub, 2 Savannah. Happy to see double Forest and Plains. I do really like a mana base like this where you do have against Delver 3 mana to play around with that can't be wastelanded, and then kind of treat your dual lands as Lotus Petals to some extent. Yeah. No Jailer either, which I think is fine. Jailer can be a little bit feast or famine, especially right now with Orcish Bowmasters not being able to control the board as much. But I think if any deck does have the ability to control the board, it's probably Abzan with punishing a close second. Yeah, really keen to see how this goes. The only other consideration I want to think about is Snuff Out in the board, and when potentially Dismember is better. There's a few creatures that I do care about that are black. Things like Troll, Grief, Dash Shadow, Opposition Agent, Fiend Artisan, potentially a Bowmaster if we want to get like through it. And of course Magus of the Moon. We don't have a swamp under Magus of the Moon, so Snuff Out is a little bit tough there, but yeah, we'll see how we go with that. Other than that, really like it. Love the 4 Thoughtseize. That's really cool. Ooze in the board for when you're wanting that. Love that as well. So let's see how this goes. Hope you're all doing well. Give me a big hello in chat if you are here. I'd love to see, I did just change my chat a little bit in my overlay, so hopefully it is working. Playing a Legacy League with play points. Perfect. Oh, some Thursday Night Legacy. Gotta love it. Gameplay. Nice. Played a pretty sweet Donation list today with Titania. That'll be up on YouTube over the weekend. Really sweet list. Happy to keep this. We have a 1-lander with Mana Acceleration in Noble Hierarch, but also Green Suns, and then a once to find land number 2. So pretty happy to keep this once. Probably wanted to find a fetch land, allowing us to cast these Bowmasters as early as possible. Okay. Gonna be up against most likely Grixis Delver, so hitting my mana is pretty key here. Because we currently really want to hit with Once Upon a Time, I'm pretty happy to play a Savannah first to play around days, then cast this. We hit the Bayou, which is nice. Play the Noble Hierarch. And pass back. They didn't daze the Noble, which typically Delver does. That kind of gives me a thought that they don't have Delver. They could have also thought that, hey, I have a Bolt. Let's keep the... let's keep the days in hand and then just bolt the Noble Hierarch. Wow. They miss a land drop, which is really interesting. Because now I can super pressure them. I also, like, I don't mind here. Wasteland, the Volk, and then Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. That also hopefully keeps them off sorcery with the Dragon Race Channeler. I don't think we have a better time right now to Wasteland, so... This also allows us to play the Green Suns around days, which is great. They're going to force that. Pitching Brainstorm, that's fine. Alright, Delver in the bin. Okay. Now they have a real clock, though. So I think upkeep, we're just going to play the Bowmaster. Yeah. It has to attack. I think here it's just Orcish now to grow the Orc and then swing for 3. And hope we can find an answer for the DRC. Endurance is most likely the cleanest outside of Swords to Plowshares. Have to attack, but now they're actually losing the race, which is great for us. Bang. Okay, that's huge. Just in case of main deck Force Negation, we're going to do that in their turn. So pretty happy to attack for 4. Play the Liberator as just an extra creature, and then play the Sword in upkeep. But 1 Wasteland. I mean, that kind of did it all. Interesting. 2, 4, 6. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Really tough for them, but the power of Wasteland, baby. Alright. So we're up against Delver. What do we like? We like the Path. We like the Snuff Out. We like the Choke, the Carpet, the Endurance, probably the Ooze. Choke, not so great on the draw, but I like all the others. Beast is a little bit too far-fetched. Teeg is an easy cut. Collector Ouphe, another easy cut. Liberator, a pretty easy cut. So now we're getting pretty close to how we want to board for at least these. Thalia I still don't mind, especially in a version with Ooze. It's kind of nice that even if it gets taken up by a Bowmaster, if they are on Grixis, we do have the Ooze. I could potentially see like a Knight coming out. Like a Knight for an Endurance is a pretty easy switch, in my opinion. I think quick Reflexes is definitely worth it. Could be Fiend. Like, Fiend isn't great because there isn't really a target we want to get with it, like a lights out target. But at the same time, it's really good to have as just a big creature, especially after the dust has settled. I don't mind cutting back on a Wasteland. I know Harry's a big fan of taking out 2 Wastelands versus Delver. And that kind of works as well with bringing in Choke, because it's a little bit awkward with Wastelanding them when you have things like Choke and Carpet. It's tough though, because I don't like cutting mana, but we'll see how this goes. Hushbring is also interesting, because it is at least like just a... two-one flyer with lifelink. But it turns off a lot of your stuff, so I don't think it's worth it. A pretty great hand, honestly. Post-board against Delver, all I want is mana. And this gives me access to black, which is great. And then we have early removal as well in Path. Renegade Rallier to potentially get back the Bowmaster. I think I'm in a situation where I'm happy to take, probably not happy to take a Wasteland from them. I could just lead on the Plains here, because I probably want to get a Bayou with the Verdant for the Bowmaster. Could play Savannah. I think worst case is flip on Delver, DRC, Wasteland Delver, Wasteland Savannah. We kind of have Verdant into Plains, into Wasteland, not online until turn 3 for them, which I kind of like. I assume they're running a basic, so Plains, so the Path might actually get one, like an island, so that's a little bit rough. I think it might just be Verdant Pass. Vapor Snag, interesting. Cool card. Ponder's fine. Ponder chose to not shuffle. Okay. That's cool. I think here I'm pretty happy to play the Plains. Most likely Path the Insectile Aberration. They could Vapor Snag it, but then we can just Bowmaster the other side of it. So they drew 1 card. Well, there's the island. So potentially they don't have another basic in the deck. They're going to attack first. I don't mind Path here, just to keep my life total a little bit high. Nice. Wow, they missed a land as well. So now we're just going to hold up Bowmaster around Daze. Seek the Beast. Seal the Exile. Wasteland and Volk. So just 2 lands, which to be fair they did miss a land drop, so... I think here I'm actually okay with not doing anything and trying to snag a creature in their turn. Hey Past, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Okay. I will just use it right now. Let's go and get Bayou. I'd rather play around Daze than potentially hit the next one. We do know about Vapor Snag. Interesting. Wow, they give us the creature back. I didn't expect that. Hey Golem. Hope you're doing well. Makes sense if they're wanting to like consistently cast cantrips here, but getting the Orc and then being able to grow it again is pretty... It's not nothing. Carpet. Orcish. That's pretty cool. Happy to cast 1 now. Pin them. Just get this train rolling a little bit. Could also Green Suns for 1 here, but I think I'd like to Green Suns potentially for... Maybe Endurance, or a way to get rid of a Murktide. Hey Moto Baggins, welcome. That would be cool. Ooh, nice, okay. Start with Orc. Hey Dirk, welcome. So Green Sun's here. I actually don't mind just playing the Knight, as it allows me... I could try to get the Orc down again. Yeah, I could Orc. I could Orc first. I should have Orc if I... Yeah. So this is one thing that I love to work on in 2024, is thinking a little bit more about my plays before I go to combat, like main phase 1 stuff, because I think here to make the most of what I can do is just Orc right now. We don't really need to remove anything, which gives us access to Cradle for 3 plus planes, which allows us to play all our spells around Daze. But yeah, little things. Ah, it doesn't. No. Interesting. Because, of course, I don't get another token. Green Suns for Grist is also pretty interesting. Could just take this off the board. Yeah, I don't mind this. Take out the Questing Druid. We have Green Suns for Grist to take out a Murktide. There's a world where we don't have to worry about it too much, being such a small creature, but it does grow pretty quickly. Here's Murktide, that's fine. Ooh, Snuff Out. I'm pretty happy just to cast this, take the 4 life, see if they want to counter this, and then see if we can get a Grist. Yeah, nice. This is a semi... I believe they still have the Vapor Snag. But at this stage, they can have the Vapor Snag. Oh, it's a Brainstorm. Ah, yes, correct. They did snag. Yeah, they did. They did. Potentially the play there as well was to actually just ping the Murktide once so the Orc grows. And then we can attack with the Orc into a 7/6. One card left. I mean, I kind of like just getting rid of the Orcish Bowmaster. And then attacking for 6. That's fine. They draw 1 card here. They know it from the Brainstorm. It's a land. They play it. Interesting. I guess, does this open up Mystic Sanctuary? Thankfully, Wasteland here is actually very good. So we get to tick up Grist. What goes in the bin? A Verdant. Okay. So now let's go... yeah. Wasteland Trop. They floated green. Interesting. Rallier. Get back Bowmaster. Yeah, really tough spot for them. A big part of this game was hitting land drops and just having the right removal at the right time, which can't always come up, but Bowmaster did a lot. Even though Bowmaster didn't even take out a creature other than Murktide, pretty happy with how that went. It was Rug as well, so very different to Grixis. But yeah, that was cool. I do like the mapping there. I don't think Hushbringer is... yeah, like... being a flyer that could potentially be a blocker and also having lifelink is kind of cool, but... the... like, turning off Bowmaster, Endurance... Rallier, it's pretty huge. Cards that have like a pretty strong role in the matchup. Alright, Can. Look, I don't mind this hand. A lot of mana. The ones can potentially find a spell, which is nice as well. We have a bit to do. At worst, turn 2 Knight. Ooh, City of Traders. Typically something a little bit unfair. Charles for 1. Alright. Here I probably want to find a Wasteland of the Once Upon a Time. If possible. Or just draw the Wasteland. Any sort of soul land hit against a soul land deck is usually a pretty good feel-good. Okay. Most likely mono-red Stompy. So we'll put these to the side for now. I do want to once here, just in case we find a fetch land, which I'll play to find a forest. We do just find the forest though, so just play the forest. No backup spell. Wow. Beast. Not really where I want to be, but We have a 3/3 knight next turn, potentially. Rabble. Okay. Knight this turn, Rallier potentially next turn. It's like a hardcast Fury. Yeah. Not too much I can do there. Bowmasters is actually pretty good because it takes out the Rebel Master. So I think what we want to do here is play the Peatland and just hold up once and also Bowmaster. Potentially get to a stage where we could rally a next turn, get back Bowmaster. Okay. 6, 7, 8. Go to 7. Bombardiers. Might just be too much. I don't know why they played the Chrome Mox. Oh, another creature or artifact. Okay. I feel like we have to hit the Rebel Master 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and then they just throw. So I don't think it matters. It actually doesn't matter. Yeah. That's interesting. Is this once a turn? Okay. Can we go to 1? It's, yeah, this is actually a tough spot because the Peatland, not being like a bayou, means going to 1 turns off the ability to fetch, which turns on Renegade Rallier. But we don't really have a choice. We could try to draw into like, yeah. Has to be drawn to a fetch. I mean, Swords doesn't even do it, yeah, because the Chalice. Tough. We like the Force of Vigors. I do like the Snuff Out. I like the Path. Not a big fan of Teeg. Thalia. Thalia's always interesting. Endurance is a good body, but double green is sometimes a pretty hard play against this sort of deck. Same with Artisan, a little bit too hard on mana. Thoughtseize is interesting, but the life loss and also being a black and also typically not being great past turn 1 is where it's a tough one. This does stop Fury, so I think actually Hushbringer is worth it. Probably over Artisan, and Outland Liberator is still fine. Grist is fine. Could be a knight, just because I typically like to keep things quite low to the ground. Turn 1 Mum wants to find a actual threat. I don't mind this. Wasteland on a soul land. Okay. Collector Ouphe, what are we thinking of? We're thinking of Chrome Mox, which goes well with the Wastelands. We're thinking of Treasures of Fable, which kind of goes well with Wasteland. We do have the quick Reflexes, which could be removal down the line. I guess if they go like turn 1 Moon Effect, we do just have like Force of Vigors there, so we have 1 force to draw into. This is a tough one because I want to play the turn 1 Mum, but we do kind of just lose to a turn 1 Moon Effect unless we play the Verdant first to get a basic forest. Huh. I like the Ouphe as it just attacks for 2 with Reflexes, which is nice. If we play turn 1 Verdant, we can also hold up quick Reflexes on a Summoning Sick Mum, which isn't the worst. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now it's a little bit awkward because I probably want to fetch a Savannah here just so I can turn 1 Mum and also Wasteland. Is that greedy? Is that greedy? I feel like it just makes it really awkward if we go for the forest here. I think we just have to go for Mum, Wasteland, take out the Salt Land. A little bit awkward against the Fable start because they do get access to pitching cards if they are mana light. Yeah, they get rid of 2 lands, so they obviously have a lot of mana going for them. Oh, 1 land, sorry. Okay. We're going to take a hit next turn. I think. Soul Cauldron, interesting. I mean, go to 13? Yeah. They're currently stuck for red mana. Cradle would be insane. Windswept. Makes a 5/5 knight. Could also attack with the Ouphe and take out the Reflections. That's pretty interesting. a lot to think about here. So, play number 1. Reflexes on Ouphe, attack, trigger, take out Reflections. But then we're just holding up once upon a time, potentially. Next play is Knight. We definitely block 1. We take probably 4 if they want to copy. The issue is if they copy something even better, like a Fury, like Hardcast Fury. Oh, sorry, like Pitchcast. So I think the safer play is taking out the Reflections. Play the land, allowing us to once. They have 3 cards left. What are the chances one is a Fury? We're getting to the stage, we take this, we're definitely fetching, so 6, we're going down to 7. Doesn't feel great, but I think just for mana considerations, it's a case of protect. Oh, okay. Alright, here we're just going to go for a Bayou. Turn on all colors, get once into play. It's probably Orc. Reflections is now a bit of an issue. Two, 4, copy, block 1 with Knight, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 6, 6. Yeah. Definitely a tough one. The creature starts are very hard. Maybe I time locked myself. Maybe that was an issue. Copy the Fury. Yeah. Maybe I should keep a hand with more removal against this sort of deck. Full damage is fine. keep this alive. We block the Fury, but then we take, yeah, a lot. Tough. Yeah, maybe it was the turn 1 play. Maybe I was supposed to just play the Mum, get the Mum online. Not like if they have Wasteland, if they have like a Magus effect. It's a little bit like Days. It's very tough to like get out of the mindset of like just if they have Moon, they have Moon. But we can recoup. Verdant Catacombs is a card I played before and really enjoyed, especially pro red. Just keeps a lot of yeah, a lot of damage off the board. It is very challenging, especially with Fury and now Bombardiers. Like Chalice is always good against our mana, which is also Blood Moon and Magus, and then it's very fast clocks as well. Makes it a really tough matchup. This one, the mana is not there. Even on the draw, pretty happy to throw this. There are many games here where I just don't draw into the mana to cast these spells, and we have a pretty quick death. Okay, pretty happy to keep this and probably just put back 1 Reflexes. Alright, Larry David. Badlands. Well, if it is a Reanimator, we get a look with once for Endurance. We are running 1 main, 1 side. Okay. Just a pass is good for us. Okay. So I could go Windswept Pass, try to keep up the once for Endurance, or I could try to build out our mana here with Green Suns. I think it's better just to like play out our game. So potentially find an Endurance here. We don't, that's okay. We don't really need mana. I think it's probably Night. Mum could be the go because it allows us to like potentially get Grist online early on, but yeah. Let's go for turn 2 Night. Go for Bayou. Probably just Archon. Grizzlebrand. Okay, old school. Grief is cool. Probably taking out the Grist here. Night just a little bit too slow. Yeah. You could also reanimate the Grist if they wanted to. Best draw Caracas. Swords isn't bad because they can't draw cards in response, but still a tough one. They're playing Troll, okay. Yeah, Goblin's also a really challenging matchup. Teeg. Look, doesn't do a whole lot. Stops Unmask. Does stop our own Green Suns, but with Grist in the bin, we're pretty much dead here. Actually, questing Beast off the top could change things if they draw and don't hit anything. Okay, we get rid of Teeg here because of like questing Beast in 4 mana just being okay. They also don't know about this card. Is there anything? No. I guess no, because even if we find Caracas, we're dead to the Archon. What do we like? Endurance. Ooze, a little bit slow, but that's fine. Gaddock Teeg and Questing Beast are easy cuts. I like the Thought Seizers. I like the Path. Mum's pretty slow. Fiend, yeah. Rallier, yeah. Reflexes can come out. That's a pretty easy one. Like Agent turns off 1 or 2 things, but not much. Force of Vigor sometimes because of Animate Dead, but Hushwing is not too bad. It does stop Archon. Quick look. Green Suns, Grist, Thalia. Yeah. Alright, on the play. Triple Thoughtseize. No lands. We have the once, but not where we want to be. Oh, no deck. Come on now. Come on, we were friends. There's a thing happening here. You can only laugh. Like, come on, let's be serious. You can only laugh at these hands. All right. Bottom, 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 bottom. Hey Zao, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah. There we go. Tough. Hope you had a nice New Year as well. I had a pretty nice one. Had some friends over for dinner, which was cool. Actually made it at 12 PM as well, which we did not think would happen. There we go. That's a bit better. All right. Let us get back into it. okay, yeah. Something for combo, something for the fair decks, mana acceleration. Can't be too unhappy here. Sadly, we'll not make CanCon this year. It sounds like a blast, though. There are a few people coming down from Brisbane, though, which is cool. Hey, too kind, too kind. Yeah, really, really tough, but that is life sometimes. CanCon should be sweet. Ooh, Canopy. See, these are the hands where, like, I'm not a big fan of double draw land because they can really add up. We will start off with probably Nurturing into Noble. That allows us to, I guess either way, allows us to Bowmaster next turn, plus Wasteland. Big group of South Australia, very cool. Unusual Letter, yes, definitely. This could be lands, I assume. Taiga, Saga. Okay. I mean, at least now they're off. Is it greedy to hit the Taiga here? Look, we're 1-2, so although Saga is a bit of an issue if they have like a Ancient Tomb or like a Mox Diamond next turn with land, I'm going to go for the green source. This also means next turn we can hopefully get Knight into play. Typically lands only plays like one Ancient Tomb, sometimes as a crop rot target, maybe moving away from it now. Okay. I mean, I could also just hit it with the Liberator if I really wanted to get aggressive. They could get a Mox Diamond, I guess. The issue is if they have crop rotation, it's just pretty terrible. So I kind of like just going for Knight here. And then if they get like a Needle, we have the Liberator for the Needle anyway. Okay. But that's awesome. 9 people from South Australia is very cool. We had like maybe 8 people at the start who were all pretty keen for CanCon, and then a few fell off just with family stuff and jobs and life in general. But yeah, it should be great. Is it a Time Walk, I believe, up for Highlander first prize? It's a piece of power, I believe, which is pretty awesome. MTG, you're very correct. I could have tapped the Peatland there for just green, and opted not to. First place Mox Sapphire, second place Super Beat Up Time Walk. Yeah, that's dope. That's very cool. Look, it's not off the table yet. I guess it is, but yeah, it would have been cool. I wonder what they crop for. Potentially a punt like a Grove, but yeah. I guess if they have like a Soul Guide Lantern here or something, you can make this a 2/2, then Punishing Fire it with another land. They do have Needle. Okay. Well, now I'm pretty happy to have the Outland Liberator around. One quick note as well is that with these 2 draw lands, the Scrubland's the only land we can actually sack to Knight. Oh, we can, of course, because Yavimaya. Here we are. Yes. There we go. Very nice. We even just talked about that as well. Sorry, it is late. Okay. They have 1 card left. Play the Live and Pass. I could attack with the Knight, but if they do nothing, I guess they will at least try to Punishing Fire to keep the Outland Liberator from flipping. But even then we're pretty happy. I guess I could take them off the Grove. I could sack and hit the Needle now and then hit the Grove. It's pretty interesting. But do I really care about the Grove? Not, I guess it's tough because I am also stopping them from potentially being able to stage it. I'm also down on 2 lands. Thoughts. Like last card in hand. I think it's definitely not crop rotation, because I think if they did have crop, they'd crop for bog us and then Punishing Fire, or Punishing Fire first to get rid of the Knight. Yeah, I don't mind this. I do have a pretty sweet Abzan lands list in Highlander, which I am meaning to try, but I've just put together like Red White Initiative, I put back Blue Moon together. It's really tough with only like once a month, which I think is great for like a consistency perspective in Brisbane to have Highlander once a month instead of like once every X amount of, like once every Friday. That can be a little bit too much. Now we're in an interesting spot. 1, 2, 3. I kind of like just going attack, see if they want to use the maze or not. There's a world where they like the Knight to be not be tapped. Okay. Fair. I think it's just going to be Fiend Artisan. We'll have a quick look. Yeah, I think it's Fiend Artisan. Like, I could try to go after their mana with Mox and then Wasteland the Yav, which is interesting. They have 1 card left. Maybe that's actually it. Yeah, just like get them. They can. Oh, they can't copy right now, thankfully. Map's a little bit awkward. Green Suns. Okay. Hey, Mr. Lee, welcome. Very cool to catch you the other day in your Legacy stream. Also cool to see that it is on YouTube right now. Yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting about these canopy lands, so I think I also would have sacked them. I can get another Knight. To be fair, I could also just go for Endurance here. Oh no, I can't, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Not sacrificing a peatland there was huge because it means this turn we don't actually have a forest to play around with. Unless we get Dryad Arbor, but then that's really awkward as well. I don't mind getting Dryad Arbor. Turns on the ability to get Cradle potentially, or even just take them off the maze. 1, 2, 3. We have 1 Wasteland left. Guess we can see what they draw into, because they can't currently copy unless they have another Yav. I think we just want to get this, yeah, over and done with. So let's get rid of this. Get the last Wasteland. Hit the maze. Alright, 2-turn clock. Ooh, Fiend Artisan, nice. Play this. 15. Just swing twice. They go to 7, and then even if they find a maze for the night, they're dead to the Fiend and the Collector Ouphe. Bog is probably the best draw. Like, bog into something else. It's always a really nice feeling to bully lands on their mana. Like, Ouphe here has really shown how powerful it can be. Yeah. Force of Vigor, Endurance, and Scavenging Ooze. I don't mind bringing in a path for a Swords. The Bowmasters can come out. The Teeg can come out. The Grist can come out. The Mums aren't great. Opposition Agent's actually quite good. That's 60. Yeah. If they're a Punishing Fire version, I don't mind the Mums. Thalia's not great, but Thoughtseize isn't great. Seems pretty fine. But I like Path over the Swords. I like Path over Swords because if it comes to the stage where we have to deal with Marit Lage, I'd much rather give them a land than 20 life, because our way to win is essentially beatdown. And sometimes pathing our own creature is something we want to do, just to be able to get that extra land that can't be hit by Wasteland. But I typically try to board out 1 or 2 swords, because I don't think that Marit Lage is a bit of an issue. If I see something like Reclaimer or potentially Endurance, then I usually keep some in. But yeah, I like to know a little bit like Grizzlebrand. I kind of like that Path doesn't give them life. The land is usually not as much of a benefit as is, say, 3 turns or 4 turns of combat. Sometimes you also see, after a game like that, where we did go after their mana and take them off green, lands might go for their basics early on, and therefore when we do a path online, they might not even have a basic to fetch up, like we saw with Delver in Game 1, or Game 2 of Match 1. I could see Thoughtseize on the play, definitely. Probably taking out like the Mums and a Sword for the 4 Thoughtseize. There are some things you want to protect with Mum, like a 2/2 Knight, or a Collector Ouphe, but there's not like maybe an Ooze while it's small. But I do like that Mum also just like, if it goes to the bin, it's there for Ooze to clean up and eat. And speaking of, it's kind of where we're at. Which I don't mind this hand. It has a lot of mana to do things. It has Ooze for some interaction. It has Cradle for a little bit of cheating on mana, which is nice. Cradle's also really nice against to start with Tabernacle. Cool Forest. That Saga might even... Yeah, the Mox is tough because it turns on Crop. Saga's a great way to beat us. I think it's one of their best plans against us. So I think it's just going to be an upkeep Wasteland. So that if they want to use the Crop, they have to tap the mana in their turn. I feel like they wouldn't, maybe they would keep that, but I feel like they have Loam. Like Loam with Exploration is a good engine. Don't just pass back. Ooh, they are just passing back. Wow. Okay. Here's a pretty interesting spot. Black isn't that necessary post board. Like Opposition Agent is really the only card. There's no... yeah, I like buy you into Noble here. See if the Noble will eat a Punishing Fire. And if not, it just makes Cradle a lot better. Essentially giving us 2 mana. It's also 1 less Punishing Fire for Mum. One thing to note, especially in this matchup, is if you have Cradle in play and you evoke a Endurance to get rid of your opponent's graveyard, always think about, could you do it in your turn to actually get mana off the Cradle, that additional green, while the Endurance is in play. Just a pass back, wow. So here the issue for my opponent is that they have the Exploration, but it doesn't do a whole lot without some sort of engine. Like, you really want a Loam, you want like a Valakut Exploration, which is pretty old school tech. I get it, but like here we get to go tap this, play Mum, Cradle 2, Ooze, and then just hold up eating Saga. Hey Ben, welcome. Hope you're doing well. See, now if they want to decimate our board, they'd have to have something like Wasteland and Tabernacle. Opponent, I think, has a crop in hand and they're really thinking about how to use it. Or potentially... No, I think if they have a Punishing Fire, they're just going after the Ooze, because it also deals with the Punishing Fire if it's kept around. Beseiju the Cradle. Okay. That's fine, because we get a mana off it. That doesn't actually do a whole lot. If anything, that gives us an extra card to play around with, which is nice. Another green source, I should say. That makes me feel like they have a Tabernacle and they want to just tax us for a while, but you never know. Yeah, Beseiju is a pretty sweet card. Go 2 green. We'll eat the Saga first. Then probably the Ghost Quarter. Now they do have open the combo here, if they have a crop. So here let's attack with the Scavenging Ooze, and then probably play out the Outland Liberator. One cool thing about the Liberator is that you sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment, which actually makes the Ooze potentially a 3/3 for 2 mana, thanks to sacking it for 1 and eating it for the other. Endurance isn't the worst, but we probably want to swords it here. I'm happy to swords this and hold the path for something bigger. They only have 1 card left. They tapped off the combo, so I think here what we're happy to do is play the Liberator off the Noble and Bayou and hold up Savannah, which holds up Liberator, Ooze, and also Path if really needed. How many mums in this list? There are 3 mums in this list. No Scrib Ranger, which I really like to try to find room for. It seems like Achilles has slotted in the additional hate piece in Gaddock Teeg in that slot, which most of the time sees sideboard play. But yeah, Mum's been cool. Especially with the Renegade Rallier as well, it always feels nice. Okay, what are we doing here? We're actually going to do nothing. We're going to flip this Liberator. I could double spell, but maybe I do just want to double spell here. Especially with the maze in play and potentially copying the maze. I think double spelling's pretty good. On second thought, I think we just cast the Fiend Artisan, hold up mana for the Liberator, and also Ooze in case they do draw Loam. That's true as well. On their turn, they're probably likely to flip the Liberator, which is nice for us. Sometimes lands plays Sylvan Library, which is like another little edge of Path over Swords, because obviously 20 life is great with Sylvan Library. It's typically at least 4 free draws. Copy the maze, okay. That's fine, because thankfully, one card in here is Questing Beast, which says combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. And Mazavith states prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and by a creature that turn. So looking pretty good. We have 4 mana currently. If we find 1 more mana, we can probably sacrifice the Noble Hierarch to go and get Questing Beast. Which thankfully, we don't even get the chance. Okay. That's fair. I feel like the issue here was potentially the keep. I typically like to keep a hand that has exploration with an engine that isn't just Saga. Because Saga is open to a lot of post-board hate in Force of Vigor, Wasteland. Those are the main 2. So potentially a mull. But who am I to tell? I like to think that Questing Beast won that game. Hey, big shout out to the Legacy Gambit as well, who just passed 500 subscribers. If you aren't aware of the Legacy Gambit, you should definitely search them up on YouTube or Twitter. Because they have some pretty big plans for content for Eternal in 2024. So big shout out to them. All right, let's try to finish this. Another 3-2, which is pretty gut wrenching, but that is fine. Going down to Reanimator, going down to Mono Red, going up against Delver, going up against lands. One deck I would like to get back to is Humans. Humans, I know Punishing Waterfalls a few weeks ago 5-0'd with a 5-color list, or 4-color. And Slow Depths. Slow green-black depths. With Leyline. Sorry, with Legolas's Quick Reflexes. Probably not Bob's, probably the Orcish Bowmasters in that place, which is also quite nice against the black cards with Sheoldred's Edict, which gives you an extra token to sacrifice to a Sheoldred's Edict, which is kind of cool. Right, Karats. Oh, that's cool. Last scene playing a very interesting like Esper deck. Which this hand is not great against. Like, I feel like Teeg and Thalia here are pretty easy no-nos. Okay, this is better. Probably just bottoming at night. No turn on Vial. That's pretty great. Verdant. That's quite nice as it turns on Orcish Bowmasters next turn. See what they have in store. Oh. So I can only assume we're seeing Bowmaster here. But yeah, pretty cool take on Yorion Esper Vial. Oh, Strix. Strix is going to be fine. Happy to get a Scrubland here. I could just cast the Knight. Let's have a quick look again. What am I really scared of? Like, Fairy Bounce. Yeah, not really. We have the, I guess that's tough. I kind of like that Orc takes out the Strix here, and then we can just play the Noble off the Dryad. They're gonna force pitching Venser. Okay. Play the Noble. Do they play Daze? No. Force, Lone Revealed, Swords, Brainstorm. Okay. This is a really cool deck. Big shout out to Jeff Lynn, I believe was the player. JTF 500? I'm gonna get that wrong, but really mastered the deck. In a meta as well that didn't really suit it at times. So that's pretty huge showing of, yeah, what the deck's capable of. Are they missing a land drop here? That would be huge, especially after a Brainstorm. Weird for them to not play a land. Okay. Okay, well they're Brainstorm locked for now. Prince the Strix, draw a card. Pretty happy just to hold up the swords here. Although Dryad Arbor isn't doing too much, maybe I'm happy if Dryad Arbor trades with one of these creatures. That'll trade with a Noble and a Sword, which is a little bit tough. Well, they named Dryad. Interesting. Honestly, I don't care about it. I don't think that I'm pretty happy just to pass. Take them off blue, which is nice. And then probably just pass back. Attack for 5. They got a blue. Do we take it, see what they cast in the second main phase, and then potentially swords just to keep some control of what's on board? Yeah, that's an easy cut. Okay. Renegade Rallier would be cool here. Green Suns, Bowmasters not the worst. I think here we just attack with the Noble and see if we can potentially get a Brainstorm off them. That'd be cool. We're in no hurry to cast this Orcish, which is cool, so I can just wait on it a little bit. They're also close to Yorion in hand. Hey Rick, welcome. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, there is a world where I play around just hardcast Force. Am I interested in blocking? Not really, to be fair. These creatures just aren't great to trade with anyway. I guess to some extent because of Yorion, I should. Because they're just going to rename most likely. Oof, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big big yikes. Yeah, and they have Yorion next turn. Oh, Hushbringer actually seems insane. Snuff Out, Path, Thalia, Gaddock Teeg. Yeah, very cool to see Esper back. Quick Reflexes is a little bit rough with how much removal they have. Ouphe hits Vial, but that's about it. Do we even care about Vial? Honestly, I don't mind Choke and I don't mind Carpet. Let's have a quick look. So Strix, Orc, Charming Prince, sure, sure. Exile another sub creature out of control, return it. Okay, Yorion. As. Oh, they don't play. Oh, they do play Vial. Okay. Ooh, yeah, I think maybe Carpet and Ouphe. Not Liberator, sorry. This is kind of cool. We have the Liberator if we really need to deal with a Vial. They miss on land drops or something and try to get it to 3. Choke's a little bit rough because it's only, what, Underground Sea, Tundra, and that's it. Yeah, but still, Choke can be annoying. Agent's interesting. Flash creature. Being an X2 though is pretty tough because it just doesn't really trade well with any of their creatures. The endurance for a fly is kind of nice. Yeah. Really want to have a good 7. Do not want to mulligan against the deck with value. Oh. Like, we have, like... No, I don't think... Like, the plan here is probably Noble into Fiend, hold up Dryad Arbor, and then turn Dryad Arbor into Hushbringer. If the Fiend goes, we got really... Yeah, we're pretty much behind the 8 ball. Basically have 4 spells, Wasteland Arbor, yeah, I could see that. Look, I don't mind it. We are on the play. We'll see how this goes. Probably could have started off with the Savannah as well, instead of the Forest. Also, Fiend Artisan getting hit by Orcish is a little bit tough. But if they have Orcish, they have Orcish. We can't, like, we have so many hits that... Yeah. The upside of getting Fiend online is just too big. Okay. Look, it's a plan. Don't know if it's a great plan, but we have Questing Beast. Yeah, always tough to keep like a Wasteland hand against a deck that can just have basics, but it's part of the game. Can't be too unhappy. Alright, Delta. Probably something like Skyclave here. No. Plague's fine. Takes out the Noble. It can't block the Questing Beast. Yeah. Nice. Play the fetch land. Maybe Venser? No! Yep. That's an 11 p.m. play, I'll tell you. Okay. Yeah, the Grist kill is where I'm aiming for. Pretty happy to hit the Venser. I don't want them getting that. Finally a Wasteland target, yeah. Would have played the Wasteland. I mean, choke is something potentially. Get to Wasteland the Wasteland. Probably here we see Yorion flip the Engineer into Dryad to make sure we can't get Dryad Arbor up at end step. Could also see like Charming Prince here. Yeah. Gilded Drake. Yeah. Tough night. Esper, Vial, Reanimator, and Moon Stompy. Which are definitely tough ones. Very challenging matchups to keep up with from like a value perspective. But did well versus Delver, which is cool. And lands, which I think as consistency gets added to Maverick, you do see yourself winning against lands most of the time, and then Delver's still pretty 50-50 depending on how you draw, but I think that Abzan has some really nice tools to fight that matchup. But yeah, it's 11 PM. I'm off to bed. A big thank you to everyone for coming in and watching, and I'll be back probably Sunday evening. We'll see how we go on the coast, so yeah. I'm going to see who else is streaming. Typically, I think True Hero is streaming around this time. No, yes. Very cool. Nice. I'll send you all over there. Very cool to catch you all. A big thank you for coming and watching. Not the result we wanted. Pretty terrible league, but we'll come back and come back hard. See you next time.